Hello students, today we will do class 8 science chapter 3 fiber and fabric questions and exercises. So here are the exercises and the questions. Let us start solving. Question 1. Explain why some fibers are called synthetic fibers. Here is the answer to this question. Some fibers which are not natural, or as many of them like to refer to them, man-made fibers, are called synthetic fibers because they are made by chemical processing of petrochemicals. These synthetic fibers are made up of very large units called polymers. Some of these synthetic fibers are rayon, nylon and acrylon. Now let me explain to you this question, particularly the answer to this question. The fibers which are not natural, i.e. the fibers, for example, the fibers which do not occur in nature are also known as man-made fibers, or in simple terms, synthetic fibers, because they are made by chemical processing of petrochemicals. Petrochemicals are essentially various constituents of petrol, and they are made by humans by chemically processing these petrochemicals. Alright, these synthetic fibers are made of very large units called polymers. So yeah, that's how these synthetic fibers are made. They are made up of very large units called polymers that are linked together like chains. Alright? And some examples of these synthetic fibers are rayon, nylon and acrylon. These fibers right here, rayon, nylon and acrylon, they are all man-made fibers or synthetic fibers. Hence why some fibers are known as synthetic fibers, because they do not occur in nature and are made from human beings or man. Alright? Now let's move on to question 2. Mark the correct answer. Here are our options. First of all, let me tell you the question first. Rayon is different from synthetic fibers because, and here are our options. It has silk-like appearance, option A. B. It is obtained from wood pulp, and option C. Its fibers can also be woven like those of natural fibers. The correct answer for this, the correct option will be it is obtained from wood pulp. Option B. Let us see if I am correct. Yes, I am. It is obtained from wood pulp. So if your answer was B, option B, it is obtained from wood pulp, then you would be correct. Okay, let's move on to question 3. This is a fill in the blanks question. Here are the different questions. Let us solve each and every one of them. Synthetic fibers are also called dash or dash fibers. The correct answer for this will be man-made or artificial. Since synthetic fibers are not found in nature and are made by us human beings, they are also known as man-made. And once again, because they are not found in nature, they can also be known as artificial fibers. Hence, why the correct answer will be man-made and artificial. Now, going on to part B of this question. Synthetic fibers are synthesized from raw materials called dash, and these raw materials that synthetic fibers are made from are known as polymers, as we have read in the previous question. Hence, why the correct answer will be polymers. And then third part of this question, part C. Like synthetic fibers, plastic is also a dash. Oh, I'm sorry. The correct answer for this question will actually be petrochemicals. That's my bad. Petrochemicals. Alright. This is the one where the answer will be polymers. Okay. Now let us see. Yes, as you can see from this, the answer for this first question will be man-made and artificial. The answer for the second question will be petrochemicals, and the answer for the third question will be polymer. Now let's move on to the next page. Here. Question 4. Give examples which indicated nylon fibers are very strong. Here is the answer. Nylon is very strong fiber because, nylon is a very strong fiber that it is why it is used for making parachutes, rock climbing ropes, finishing nets, seat belts, etc. I mean fishing nets, seat belts, etc. A nylon thread is elastic and light but is actually as strong as a steel wire. Now let me explain to you this question. The nylon, despite being a fiber, is actually very strong. It is so strong that a single thread of nylon is stronger than steel despite being very elastic and light. Because of this strength that nylon possesses, it is often used for the making of parachutes, ropes for rock climbing, fishing nets, seat belts, etc. So this is the answer for question 4. Moving on to question 5. Explain why plastic containers are favored for storing food. As we all know, we typically store our food items in plastic containers. Even companies such as chips bags, they are also stored in plastic packets. They are not containers per se, but you can consider them that. But it is quite common for us to store our food in plastic containers. And here are the reasons why we store our food in plastic containers. So this is the answer to question 5. Plastic containers are favored for storing food for the following reasons. This is the first point. Plastic containers are lightweight, so they are easy to handle. Second point, the price of plastic containers is very less as compared to other containers. Reason 3, they have good strength. And the final reason, plastic containers are durable. Alright, let us discuss each of these points individually. Point 1. Plastic containers are lightweight, so they are easy to handle. Since plastic containers do not weigh a lot, they are easy to handle and can be carried easily. Alright, moving on to point 2. The price of plastic containers is very less as compared to other containers. Since plastic as a material is much cheaper as compared to other materials such as steel, iron, etc., they also cost less. Hence why they are favored for storing food. Point 3. They have good strength. This is pretty self-explanatory. They are pretty strong, hence why they are favored for storing food. And the final point, plastic containers are durable. Not only are they strong, but they are also durable. However, if you want to, you could add in another point, and that point is that plastic containers also do not react with food items, because there are certain materials in nature that are capable of reacting with food items, and these reactions may spoil our food. So that is another point. Plastic containers also do not react with food items. Alright, question 6. Explain the difference between the thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. If you have read this chapter, you may know that there are two main types of plastics, thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. And there are various differences between each of these types of plastics, and we will discuss them in this answer. Answer 6. Difference between the thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. Here is a table which states all the differences. I will go point-wise and tell you the difference between each of them and also discuss about these differences. Alright, thermoplastics. Plastic which gets deformed easily on heating and can be bent easily are known as thermoplastics, whereas thermosetting plastics are the plastics which when molded once cannot be softened by heating. These types of plastics are called thermosetting plastics. Now, the thermoplastic is the type of plastic which can be deformed easily on heating, meaning that when you heat them, when you subject them to a little bit of heat, they are capable of being deformed and their shape being misshapen, you could say. An example of this will be plastic bottles. When you heat up plastic bottles, they get deformed. These types of plastics can also be bent easily. If you try to bend a plastic bottle, then you would most likely be able to succeed. And these are the characteristics. Now, moving on to thermosetting plastics, let us discuss this point. The plastics which when molded once cannot be softened by heating, those are called thermosetting plastics. thermosetting plastics are essentially the exact opposite of thermoplastics. Can be deformed easily on heating, whereas thermosetting plastics cannot even be softened by heating, let alone be bent without heating. Alright, so that is thermosetting plastics. Now, moving on to the second point of both of these plastics. Thermoplastics. Polythene and PVC are some of the examples of thermoplastics. And then moving on to thermosetting plastics, two examples are bakelite and melamine. These are respectively the examples of the type of plastics they are. For thermoplastics, there are polythene and PVC, whereas for thermosetting plastics, there are bakelite and melamine. So take note of that. Polythene and PVC and bakelite and melamine. The red underlines are for thermoplastics and the blue underlines are for thermosetting plastics. Alright. Moving on to the third point of each of these plastics, and this is the final point. This is the uses of these plastics in particular. Thermoplastics are used in the manufacturing of toys, combs, and various types of containers, such as plastic bottles, as we have discussed before. Whereas bakelite is used, this is talking about these two types of thermosetting plastics in particular, not all of these combined into one. Because both polythene and PVC are used in the manufacturing of toys, combs, and various types of containers, whereas bakelite and melamine are used to manufacture different products each. Understand? Now, going on. Bakelite is used for making electrical switches, handles of various utensils, etc. Whereas melamine is used for making floor tiles, kitchenware, and fabrics which resist fire. And that is it for the differences between these types of plastics. In summary, thermoplastics can be deformed easily on heating, and examples of them are polythene and PVC. These types of plastics are also used in the manufacturing of toys, cones, and various types of containers. Whereas thermosetting plastics are the plastics which cannot even be softened easily, let alone be bent normally without heating. Examples of these plastics are bakelite and melamine, and bakelite is used for making electrical switches, handles of various utensils, whereas melamine is used for making floor tiles, kitchenware, and fabrics which resist fires. And that was it for question 6. Moving on to question 7. Explain why the following are made of thermosetting plastics. Alright. Here are two parts of this question: saucepan handles and electric plugs, switches, and plug boards. Now, first of all, we answer the part 1 of this question, melamine, which is a thermosetting plastic. It resists fire and can tolerate heat better than other plastics. So it is used for making saucepan handles which resist fire. The explanation for this part of the question is that melamine is a bad conductor or insulator of heat. Because of this property, heat is not transferred from the pan to the handle. Hence why it is used in the making of saucepan handle. Not only can it resist fires, but heat is also not transferred through it. And as we all know, if you were to cook with a steel handle per se, then your hand would get burnt and you would not be able to cook very easily. Hence why melamine is used in the making of saucepan handles. And melamine, as we all know, is a thermosetting plastic. Alright, moving on to part B and part 2 of this question, bakelite, which is also another thermosetting plastic. Remember, both melamine and bakelite are thermosetting plastics. Alright? Anyways, moving on. Bakelite is a thermosetting plastic which is a poor conductor of heat, just like melamine. And not only is it a poor conductor of heat, it is also a poor conductor of electricity. Due to these properties, it is used for making electric plugs, switches, plug boards, etc. Since it is a poor conductor of heat and electricity, neither electric current nor heat can pass through it. And since we use electric switches daily and commonly, if they were not made of bakelite, then we would get then we would get shocked. Alright? Now, moving on to question 8. Categorize the materials of the following products into can be recycled and cannot be recycled. Now, before I show you the answer to this question, I will actually, first of all, think of it yourself. Try to solve this question yourself. I myself will also be taking each of the materials can be recycled and cannot be recycled with different colors. A red tick will mean can be recycled and a blue tick will mean cannot be recycled. Alright? Now, let's go. Plastic toys can be recycled. Carry bags can be recycled. Ballpoint pens can be recycled. Plastic balls can be recycled. Plastic covering on electrical wires, I am pretty sure this can be recycled as well. Plastic chairs can also be recycled. Alright, now let's take those that cannot be recycled. Telephone instruments, cooker handles, and electrical switches. Now let's see if I am correct. Here, plastic toys, carry bags, ballpoint pens, plastic balls, plastic covering on electric wires, and plastic chairs can be recycled as these are thermoplastics. Whereas telephone instruments, cooker handles, and electrical switches cannot be recycled as they are thermostatic plastics. So as you can see, I was correct. Now moving on to the explanation for why this is the case. Well, it is quite simple. Thermoplastics are plastics which are recyclable materials, meaning that they can be recycled into different materials. Whereas thermostatic plastics are made of materials which are non-recyclable. Hence, why plastic toys, carry bags, and ballpoint pens can be recycled, whereas telephone instruments, cooker handles, and electric switches cannot. Alright, now let's go and solve question 9. Rana wants to buy shirt for summer. Should he buy cotton shirts or shirts made from synthetic material? Advise Rana, giving your reasoning. And here is the answer to this question. Rana is advised to buy cotton shirt for summer because cotton absorbs the sweat and the pores in cotton allows easy evaporation and keeps our body cool. Whereas synthetic shirts don't absorb sweat, so they are very uncomfortable to wear in summers. Now, the explanation for this answer. The reason why cotton shirts are advised to be worn is because they absorb sweat. And you may wonder, why is absorption of sweat important? Why is absorbing sweat important? Well, the reason for this is absorbing sweat actually allows us to maintain our body's heat. Hence, absorption of sweat is important. Other than that, cotton also allows easy evaporation and keeps our body cool. And finally, cotton is also a bad conductor of heat. Because of these reasons, Rana is advised to wear cotton shirts for summer. Cotton shirts for summer and not synthetic shirts for summer. Alright. And here is question 10. I am pretty sure question 11 is the last question. No, question 12. Yeah. Alright, first of all, let's solve question 10. Give examples to show that plastics are non-corrosive in nature. Now we need to give reasons why plastics are made of non-corrosive material. Here is the answer to this question. We can store various kinds of chemicals and other materials in plastics because they are non-reactive and do not react with water and air. Now here are our points as to why plastics are non-corrosive in nature. Teflon, a kind of plastic, is used as a coating to manufacture non-stick cookware. Bakelite is a poor conductor of heat and electricity, so it is used for making electric switches and candles and handles of the utensils. Melamine is used for making floor tiles and kitchenware. Due to all of these reasons, plastic is known as a non-corrosive material because first of all, it does not react with water and air, and water and air are actually essential for reactions to take place. So this is first of all one reason why plastics are non-reactive and are non-corrosive in nature, because if they cannot react, then they cannot corrode. Alright, and because of this, plastic containers are also made, and plastic containers are used to store various items because they are non-corrosive. Now going on to Teflon. Teflon is a kind of plastic which is used as a coating to manufacture non-stick cookware. Teflon, which as we all know is a kind of plastic, is used to manufacture non-stick cookware. This further proves that plastic is non-corrosive in nature. Because cookware, what we use to cook our food, is known as cookware, and Teflon is used in the manufacturing of cookware. And since Teflon, a type of plastic, does not react with the food that we use on our cookware, that we cook on our cookware, alright? Because of this reason, plastic is non-corrosive in nature. Now, the second point as to why plastic is non-corrosive in nature is that bakelite is also a poor conductor of heat and electricity, so it is used for making electric switches and handles. Plastic does not react with handles of various utensils, neither electricity, hence why it is also non-corrosive. And final point, melamine is used for making floor tiles and kitchenware. Kitchenware that commonly comes in contact with various food items, and these food items do not corrode, hence neither spoil, hence why plastic is non-corrosive in nature. I hope you understand what I am trying to explain to you. Okay, moving on to question 11. Should the handle and bristles of a toothbrush be made of the same material? Explain your answer. Here is the answer to question 11. The bristles of a toothbrush should be made of soft material so that it does not harm the gums, and the handle should be made of hard material so that it can give a firm grip. Therefore, the bristles are made of nylon fibers which are strong, elastic, lustrous, lightweight and easy to handle, and the handle is made of hard plastic as it is strong, durable, poor conductor of heat and electricity. Now, as you can probably guess, the reason why soft materials are favored for the bristles of a toothbrush is simply because it does not harm the gums. And the reason why handles should be made of hard material is that it can give a firm grip. Because of these reasons, because of the above, bristles of a toothbrush are made of nylon fibers. Because they are strong, elastic, lustrous meaning they give off a shine, and are also lightweight and easy to handle. Whereas the handle is made of hard plastics that are strong, durable and poor conductors of heat and electricity. Alright. Question 12. Yes, this is the last question. Question 12. Avoid plastics as far as possible. Comment on this advice. Here is the answer to the final question. Nowadays, plastics become very important in our daily life. even though we should avoid them as far as possible for the following reasons. Here are the following reasons as to why we should avoid plastics. Plastics are not biodegradable and take a lot of time to decompose. Plastics are not eco-friendly. By burning plastics, poisonous fumes are released that cause air pollution. Sometimes cows and other animals may eat plastics present in the garbage, which may choke their respiratory system and even cause death. The plastic left in the soil results in soil pollution. Plastic bags drained into the water bodies cause threat to aquatic life also. And the final point. Polybags choke the drains and sewage pipes thus causing a lot of trouble. Now let me explain to you each and every one of these points individually. Plastics are non-biodegradable materials. As you all have probably learned in previous classes, non-biodegradable means a material that takes a long amount of time to decompose. Because of this, they take a lot of time to decompose and cause land pollution and release chemicals which are harmful for our ecosystem. And other than that, plastics are also not eco-friendly. Plastics are not eco-friendly. By burning plastics, poisonous fumes are released that cause air pollution. Since plastics are made of various chemicals such as petrol, or I should say petrochemicals, if we burn plastics, poisonous fumes are released and this causes air pollution. And air pollution is very harmful to us as they cause a number of diseases not only in humans but also other animals. Other than that, sometimes cows and other animals may eat plastics and present in the garbage which may choke their respiratory system and even cause death. A lot of us unfortunately throw our garbage wastes on the road, or in simpler terms, litter. And this littering can be very harmful to animals such as cows as they may eat these plastic wastes. And when they eat these plastic wastes, their respiratory system may choke, and this choking of respiratory system may even cause death. For your info, respiratory system is the system that is required for breathing or respiration, such as our lungs. Hence why plastics are also bad and should be avoided as far as possible. Now, the plastic left in the soil results in soil pollution. Since a lot of us also throw plastics in fields and in playgrounds, this also causes soil pollution, which reduces the yield of crops. And then another point, plastic bags drained into the water bodies cause threat to aquatic life also. Because just like cows may choke their respiratory systems by eating plastics, aquatic animals may also choke their respiratory system by eating these plastics. Other than that, throwing plastics in water bodies also causes water pollution. And then the final point, polybags or plastic bags also choke the drains and sewage pipes, thus causing a lot of trouble. And that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to support our channel by subscribing, and make sure to support our videos as well by sharing and liking. Bye bye students. Keep learning.